Chairman Green, Ranking Member, pardon me? Chairman Green, Ranking Member Thompson, and distinguished members of the committee. I'm Rebecca Kiessling. I'm a mother. I'm the mother to Caleb and Kyler, as well as 3 teenage daughters. Our family's been through a lot. I lost my 2 sons. Caleb was age 20 and Kyler was age 18 on July 29th of 2020. It was absolutely a perfect storm. There was also a 17-year-old girl, Sophia Harris, who died along with them. And the drug dealer, Lorenzo Brabo, was spared by Narcan. And he ended up getting 8 to 15 years for killing 3 people. Because to the law enforcement, this was a breakthrough case. My former law partner, her husband is a sheriff deputy, he's a detective in the next town over. He tells me he's got a stack. Every day there's a stack of dead people. And there's no leads. But in our case, there was a lead. The drug dealer was there, and he was another addict. And so because he survived, they had leads to who he got it from, and they actually could try to start tracing it back. And the law enforcement made it clear to me that this fentanyl came from Mexico. It came from our southern border. I didn't know what fentanyl was. I didn't know what Narcan was. I had heard of the opioid epidemic. I thought, people are getting prescription drugs and getting addicted and then getting it on the streets and that it affects their ability to work. I didn't know that people were dying. I didn't know that my boys were taking anything that could kill them. They didn't think that they were either. They thought that they were safe with pills, and I'm going to read some statements from my sons that they wrote shortly before their deaths, and you'll see that that's exactly the case. But the government knew. The government's known for years and years. The year my son Caleb was born, 2020, there were roughly 20,000 drug-related deaths in the United States. The year they died, it was 2000, it was the year he was born. And the year that they died, 2020, there were over 100,000. For 2021, almost 110,000. The CDC I saw yesterday says that fentanyl deaths rose 22% from 2020 to 2021. It's unbelievable. You would think that one death from fentanyl coming across our southern border would be enough to sound the alarm. And my kid's story was high profile because 3 young people died. There was another child from our hometown who died the same day. It wasn't in the news. You don't hear about it because it was just one death. So it wasn't extraordinary. I found out from the funeral home that they have tons of these cases regularly. I'm from Rochester Hills, Michigan. We were, in Money Magazine, ranked in top 10 cities live in America a few years ago. Our school is top 5 in Michigan. But this all started at the schools. And the law enforcement are doing all they can, but they usually don't have leads. You have to stop it from its source. Now, if we had Chinese troops lining up along our southern border with weapons aimed at our people, with weapons of mass destruction aimed at our cities, you damn well know you would do something about it. We had a weather balloon from China going across our country. Nobody died, and everybody's freaking out about it. But 100,000 die every year, and nothing's being done. Not enough is being done. Numbers are going up, not down. And you talk about children being taken away from their parents. My children were taken away from me. 100,000 Americans every year are having their children, 200,000 because it's both parents, right? are having their children taken away from them. This should not be politicized. It's not about race. Fentanyl doesn't care about race. You talk about welcoming those crossing our border, seeking protection. You're welcoming drug dealers across our border. You're giving them protection. You're not protecting our children. I'm in support groups on Facebook where there's thousands of parents who have lost their children. Every day, faces are added. It's dehumanizing. It's demoralizing. There's parents who are, they paint the chairs purple, and they kind of make shrines for their children. And I see those purple chairs because purple is the, color for a drug death. And I don't use the term drug overdose because this was not an overdose. This was murder. My children got fake Percocets that were fentanyl. There was no Percocet in it at all. And it's a homicide, not overdose. But they have these purple chairs. And I saw that and I thought, I don't ever want to have purple chairs. I don't need a reminder. I don't want to remember my sons for how they died. I want to remember them for how they lived. But I'm here testifying today because there are other people who need to remember. I don't need a purple chair in my house. Congress needs a purple chair. The White House needs a purple chair to never forget about all those who are being slaughtered. This is a war. Act like it. Do something. My son, Kyler, shortly before he died, this is what he wrote. And I want to share their writing so they can have a chance to testify. He wrote his goals. Number 1, stay away from drugs and alcohol. It's not worth it. 2, surround myself with good influence people. 3, stay away from nicotine. 4, treat people with more respect. Don't burn bridges. 5, find another method to cope that works for me. 6, get closer with Jaden. 7, start doing something physical to get in shape. 8, start working a lot to stay focused. 9, finish school. And he did. The day before he died, he graduated. 10, have a better relationship with my parents. 11, do anything and everything to better myself and my health. 12, listen when told to do something. 13, don't F up pro bono or I'll have a felony on my record. 14, report to any and every drug test. 15, don't follow my birth mom's steps. 16, be there for my brother, my only blood brother. 17, I can do anything that I put my mind and effort to. I'd like to have the photos of my sons shown. I have just a few photos that you can see, again, to put a face to this issue. This is not just a concept. We also found Caleb's testimony he wrote out weeks earlier because he wanted to start speaking in schools and to tell other kids why not to do drugs, why not to ever try it. He said, my name is Caleb Kiessling. I'm 20 years old. I've dabbled in drugs. I've never touched crack, meth, or heroin as I have grown up watching my birth mother ruin her life and watch all her friends pass away from heroin overdoses. And I've also grown up hearing how destructive those 3 substances are, so I've stayed away from them and do not see myself ever trying them. Again, he thought he was safe. He didn't want to die. He says, I was an athlete. I played soccer from a young age all the way up until my junior year. I got A's in school, was student council president, and ended up graduating early. And I've held a full-time job since I was 16 years old. I'm extremely intelligent. I have my parents to thank for that, as they stressed I keep my nose in a book, teaching me that knowledge is true power and is the only thing nobody can ever take from you. Before I got caught, I had already realized that my life needed to change. I'd been in the process of signing on with the Navy. I scored in the 90th percentile on the PCAT test. I have too many routes available to me not to succeed. So even if the military is in my path, I'm going to have a good future. I can feel that in my bones. I'm built to succeed, and my issues have only made me stronger. My shortcomings don't even begin to define who I am and don't even begin to speak to what I've been through and overcame. I can only claim just a little credit for it because it's by the Lord's grace and protection that I'm alive and here to tell my story. He has watched over my whole life, even when I refused to accept his presence and existence.
Rebecca, we're gonna need to move to our next witness. Okay, I know you're. I can't imagine. None of us here can imagine. I'm so sorry, but there will be questions, and you'll get to share more in a moment. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.